15 for us in the booth. And these are two teams, Tom, that have the hopes to go deep into the NCAA tournament, perhaps the Sweet 16. And Tom, as we set the stage for this matchup, this is the kind of game that you'll look back on later in the year, likely as a pivotal match.
Yeah, both teams with high expectations, but both with big questions coming into the year as well. Syracuse, of course, was a seeded team in the NCAA tournament last year. They bowed out to Akron, and Georgetown also in the NCAA tournament last year, losing to Michigan State. And both teams want to get back there and testing themselves on this opening matchup.
Now, Tom, if I'd given you 100 guesses last spring as to what the starting 11 would be for the Hoyas in Game 1, I think you'd go for 100 as we set the lineup here. Some of that injuries, Achara not available today, some of it coach's decisions, some of it the arrival of new players and the good form of certain players. So the Hoyas will line up in a 4-2-3-1. It'll be Nealis, recognized as a Herman final watch list candidate at the right back position. It'll be freshman Daniel Wu alongside Rio Hope Gunn, the sophomore, and then Sean O'Hearn at left back. And Zawadzki and J.B. Fisher in front of them. Fisher, the senior who's played limited minutes in his tenure, played in the PSG system growing up in France. And Tom, it'll be Riviere on the right, Montez in the middle, Ethan Lochner, the graduate student, on the left, and Riley Strassner getting the start in his senior year up front.
Yeah, and you think about last year, freshman goalkeeper Giannis Nicopolidis had the benefit of so much experience right in front of him. You had that center back pairing of Schrapp and McDonough with Zayats in front of him. And now this year, more is going to fall on Giannis to get the defense organized as Nicopolidis collects that one, but organizing them from the goalkeeper position.
Nicopolidis, of course, from Greece, and international soccer featured all around Shaw Field today, Tom. 7 of the 11 Orange starters not from the U.S. as Riviere breaks down the right side. Miscommunication with Nealis. And Syracuse will find Severin Sorley. And Tom, there's one of the unexpected starters, Daniel Wu, who's impressed from day one of preseason, the freshman from Cary, North Carolina.
Yeah, the freshman won that starting spot. Top 100 recruit coming out of North Carolina, but he has impressed during preseason.
Composure and, as evidence in training and talking to people around the program, an excellent passer out of that back position. And in the formation that Weiss and the Georgetown staff prefer, having good passing center backs is essential.
Yeah, especially with how much Nealis likes to get up and down that right flank. Will be imperative for the freshman Wu to be composed, especially if Syracuse looks to press. And Syracuse is an athletic, physical team that does like to put teams under pressure.
And Tom, if you want to profile a few players on Syracuse, one would be Niall Higgins, the center back, the Canadian, as well as up front Ryan Raposo, who's been dynamic throughout the preseason.
Yeah, Raposo is a dangerous attacking player, kind of withdrawn striker role, named to the top drawer freshman best 11 last year, and Georgetown will have to keep their eye out on number 10 for Syracuse.
Tom, we talked briefly about Jacob Montez in his junior season, 42nd career start today. What's important about Montez for this Hoya team, playing in that position that so many great Hoyas through the years have played in that number 10 slot?
Well, he needs to be a difference maker this year. He has 2 years under his belt where he has started virtually every game that he's played, and now he needs to produce. He needs to have several goals and assists, and when he's clicking, he is such a dangerous player running at the defense. Got to find production out of Montez, though.
You saw Riviere battling Matt Orr there, or the senior from Hong Kong, a transfer for the University of San Francisco. And Ian McIntyre, Tom, as he's built this Syracuse program to be a consistent top 20 program, he goes everywhere. He goes internationally, and he goes to the transfer market.
And he has a great pipeline north of him in Canada. A lot of Canadian internationals come down and play at Syracuse. And, of course, Syracuse plays in that ACC, which has 6 teams ranked in the top 20 preseason.
And for those ACC teams, the out-of-conference games are so important. So you have to have at least a 500 overall record to get in the NCAA tournament. and you know it's going to be tough going once you get into conference play.
You think about last year, Syracuse was 7-7-4. Obviously, one of those losses was in the NCAA tournament, but thought well enough to be the 16 seed in that tournament.
Here's Wu, his first foray into the attacking half. It's a new surface at Shaw Field, Tom, as Riviere slices through the defense looking for Nealis. It's the second miscommunication between Riviere and Nealis. Riviere, the sophomore, Nealis, the senior. It's Riviere's first career start, and those two don't have a lot of game minutes together.
Yeah, we talked about the partnership in the center back being important with Hope Gund and Wu trying to get it, but also with Nealis, especially him giving width on that right side. Riviere has to find the time where he can pinch in so Nealis can find that space down the flank.
Syracuse goalkeeper is Christian Misch, the sophomore from Switzerland. Misch, a good shot stopper. Here's Fisher getting into a tackle. Souvenir for the crowd that's starting to settle in here on the hilltop. Late arriving, as always. That's one thing that hasn't changed in the 16 years, Tom.
It's more difficult to get up here, though, with all the construction going on campus right now, so it's a little bit of an excuse.
Indeed, though, you've put in the work on your fitness, I know, so that you can get up here a little easier.
Yeah, I don't need the golf cart anymore.
Throw in here taken by Hilly Goldar, another Canadian. Team's just feeling themselves out here. Played more than 5 minutes. Neither team has registered an attempt on goal. Here's the right back, Dylan McDonald. As Syracuse will look to play, Nicopolitis off his line. And he'll find the ball. Giannis going with the preferred fluorescent kit that JT Marcinkowski began, and Nicopolitis has continued that tradition. Good composure from Wu there to find O'Hearn. Sean, his third consecutive year as a starter. Searching ball, looking for Lochner, but the curve of that ball out of play. And Tom Lochner, as a grad student, the most experience in a Hoya uniform. What do you expect his role to be in this side this year?
Well, to bring experience, he also, when you look at the guys out on the field right now in the starting 11, he has the most goals in the career as anyone out there. He has 5 goals in his career. Of course, Dotson and Achara, both on the bench, combined for 34 goals. We'll surely see Dotson today, but again, Achara dealing with a little bit of an injury, so we will not see Achara today.
Here's Rio Hope Gunn. Hope Gunn, as a freshman last year, Tom, not consistent minutes, but enough minutes to feel what it's like to play in a top-level game.
Yeah, and he's a good target on some set pieces. Scored a couple of goals last year in not a lot of minutes, actually. Big Data would love to look at his goals per minute.
That math's actually pretty straightforward.
It is.
Here's Strassner in the corner. Riley, a searching ball, looking for Zawadzki, who chests down. Ball falls to the feet of Lochner. His shot's blocked. Rather Montez. Now out wide to Nealis. First time ball looking for Strassner, deflected by McDonald of Syracuse. And Higgins will clear. O'Hearn steps forward. Sean will go wide to Ethan Lochner. Lochner with a covering defender. He'll try to go to the end line. Good deft footwork. Then a searching ball to the back post. Strassner gets to it first, but the second ball partially cleared by the Orange.
And Syracuse really deep with 9 of their field players inside of 30 yards defensively.
Back to Misch. Pressure applied by Strassner. Hoyas wanted a handball there. Instead, O'Hearn will collect and win a throw.
And O'Hearn with a lot of experience in his junior campaign as well. Think about the experience in the back line for Georgetown. It's the outside backs this year with O'Hearn and Nealis. It was just such a huge improvement from year 1 to year 2 with O'Hearn's one-on-one defending, decision-making with the ball.
So Watsky tries to find Riviere. Riviere speedy and attack-minded. Those guys in basketball, you talk about a player with a quick release. Riviere gets his shots off without needing much space. Scoreless here in the 10th minute. Montez with a touch. Now O'Hearn, the two juniors combined. Lochner against Austin Ricks. Lochner battling for it, but sturdy defending from McDonald there.
Well, and it's just great team defending for Syracuse. Lochner loves going at defenders one-on-one, and there wasn't just one covering defender there. There were two covering defenders. Lochner couldn't get around all three of them, and Syracuse with a goal kick.
Hoya's ranked sort of between 10 and 15 in most preseason polls. Syracuse either in the 20s or just receiving votes, but two teams again with very high hopes. J.B. Fisher, his first touch. Now Montez, clean on the ball. Montez, good burst. And now Riviere tries to build through Lochner. Hoya's more of the ball than the orange here early. Montez looking for Riviere. Zach's going to find it in the box. Sliding effort. And Riviere's going to want that first touch back.
Yeah,
but a crafty ball from Montez.
Yeah, and there's the pace that you talked of, the quickness. Riviere gets around the back line of Syracuse. Not only was it a crafty ball by Montez, it's good distribution out of the back of O'Hearn. We talked about the development from his freshman to his sophomore year, but there plays a 20 or 30-yard ball into a pocket of space where Montez is able to receive it, turn it, and hit another penetrating ball.
Nealis rises above, and one of the reasons so much attention on Nealis, Tom, is his athleticism.
Yeah, one of the best verticals on the team. He's got great pace. And he's one of those guys, like Montez, that running with the ball, he seems to be just as fast when he has the ball as when he doesn't have it.
Nealis, the third in the brothers Nealis soccer players. Jimmy had a tremendous career as a left back at Georgetown, and his brother Sean getting lots of first-team minutes for the Red Bulls this year as a rookie.
Played at Hofstra?
He did. Tom, we've talked about Montez. How about Zawadzki and how his role may evolve from a year ago? Again, another player was an important part of the Georgetown side that fell to Michigan State in the NCAA tournament last year.
Yeah, he's thought of by a lot of people as a great center midfielder, and again, like Montez, he has to figure out a way to put his imprint on the game. Technically, he's so good. After his season last year, was invited into the U19 national team camp after the season, but 0 goals and 1 assist in the center of the midfield. I think a lot from Zawadzki and Montez. The two of them are going to have really big years if Georgetown's going to do great things.
Zawadzki finds Nealis. Montez trying to keep it in play but can't. Good physical challenge there from Syracuse's Matt Orr. Syracuse will try to play through Fulcar as well as Sinclair. Sinclair, the Costa Rican international.
And Fulcar was a great high school basketball player. Led his team to a state championship. I think he scored about 25 points in the state championship game. You never know. Jimmy Boeheim might need someone on the roster.
Jimmy still coaching up there? Here's Goldhar. Looking for the target player sorely. Can't find him. Georgetown a clear. And Tom, it appears Riviere playing very high when Georgetown gets up the field.
Yeah, it's about that understanding about when he has to pinch in to give the space for Nealis coming up the right flank, but he's got to remember his defensive responsibilities as well.
Raposo, his first touch.
Oh, and there's the first glimpse of Raposo and little burst getting to the end line, and that was a dangerous ball back across the box.
Yeah, that's the kind of service that has his own goal written all over it. And you saw O'Hearn facing his own goal. And the clearance fortunately bounces off the shin guard and over, but Syracuse will take the first corner of the match here in the 15th minute.
And this was a concern coming into the game for the Georgetown coaching staff, is dealing with the physicality of Syracuse on these restarts. You look at some of the size of Syracuse out there. You made reference to Higgins listed at 6'2", McDonald, the junior, 6'2".
Corner, it's Nealis, and the Hoyas playing zonally there. Nealis wins the header. Fulker will collect the second ball. Now it's Raposo to his preferred right foot. Looking at the back post, Riviere. Not used to being in the left back position. They'll find it, and Lochner will start the counter. But look at Syracuse's discipline. 6 behind the ball already as Montez works through the teeth of the defense. What a run by Jacob Montez. Montez is in. Montez shoots off the post in a brilliant knifing run through the defense by Montez. 1 against 6, and the post denies the Hoyas their season opener.
And that is simply brilliant. It is, when you see Montez make plays like that, it's just, can we see more of it? Because that is just individual brilliance, under pressure, running at people, and he just kind of skates by the Syracuse defense. And I thought that was a very composed shot with his left foot, and just so unfortunate.
And we need to give Mish credit. He must have cut down that angle enough that Jacob didn't have a ton to shoot at on the right side. But I gave Syracuse credit for their defensive position, and Montez just decided to take it on himself.
Oh, it was a great first touch in pressure in the center of the midfield, and then 1-on-3, just complete control of the ball, running at defenders with pace is a great trait, and no one does it better than Montez, and that was simply sensational.
Searching ball to the back post. Nicopolitis handles easily. And, Montez, maybe Tom getting rid of the 1 in front of the 7 on his jersey. It's given him a new burst of confidence. One of the great Georgetown attackers of all time wore that number 7 and made his own share of knifing runs through defense, the Raul Ferrer.
What a great goal scorer Raul Ferrer was. And he scored some sensational ones.
There's Montez again. Likes the run he sees from Lochner. Good outside of the right foot. Weighted pass. No covering defender this time. Ethan, service across, but Mish is there. And the quality of the final ball not there for Ethan Lochner.
Yeah, I think Lochner got caught a little bit. His eyes got big as he kind of turned the corner and knows he doesn't have a good angle. Knows he should have hit that one across the box, but kind of in the back of his mind, I'll have a go here.
O'Hearn finds Montez, chest down. Good skill from the junior. And Riley gets in the way.
And the one thing for Montez that I really like in the first 18 minutes of this match, he's finding good pockets of space kind of up the field. And then he obviously that brilliant run as well. So he's not just keeping possession. He's hitting penetrating balls and making very dangerous runs with the ball.
Scoreless here in the 19th minute. That's Daniel Wu, a new face for Hoya fans, manning the right side of the central defense, the freshman from Cary, North Carolina. And a substitution early for Ian McIntyre as it's Simon Triantafilou entering, and he'll replace the striker, Severin Sorley. And Tom, I know you like Triantafilou as a player.
Simon's a dangerous player for Syracuse. Another one from that Canadian pipeline.
Triantafilou's a junior.
And he was a top 50 recruit.
After the play, they're having a word with the official. Extended. Wu is there.
Possession. And Syracuse is really just allowing Georgetown to keep inside. Georgetown will need to be patient, but they'll also need to be decisive in terms of breaking down this orange defense.
Now Wu in a tough battle with Raposo. Hope Gunn comes over. Good team defending by the central back pairing. And then a terrific ball by Hope Gunn.
That is a brilliant ball.
Lochner's onside. Strasser's making a run. Tries to find him. Header. And an amazing save by Mish. Rebound off the crossbar by...
Montez has hit the post and the crossbar. And Strassner denied by the sprawling foot of Miesh of Syracuse.
That save is spectacular from Mish. And the deftness of the ball from Lochner there to find Strassner, and the Hoyas cannot believe they've yet to break the seal on the Orange defense.
Well, when that play all started, we talked about at the top of the broadcast the question about the center back pairing. Wu and Hope Gunn did very well with Syracuse's most dangerous attacking player, and then Hope Gunn picks his head up and hit about a 45 or 50-yard ball on a line, freeing Lochner. And Strassner did everything correct on that header. He got up above it, headed it back to the far post, and if it wasn't for the leg of Syracuse's goalkeeper, Strassner would have found his way into the scorebook.
Fisher's ball easily cut out, and then a foul there. Fisher was hit hard. And it was McDonald that fouled him. And Tom, the plan is exactly midway through the first half. 3 Hoyas, Rothrock, Beer, and Dodson about to enter the match. 3 juniors, 3 very different stories. Rothrock, the transfer from Notre Dame. Dodson, the preseason Big East Offensive Player of the Year. And Beer, back to the team after a year away from soccer, rediscovering the love of the game.
Yeah, and the coaching staff has been thrilled with the addition of Beer. Love how he's come back and in top form. Of course, what a luxury bringing in Derek Dotson halfway through this match. Syracuse hasn't been pressing, so it'll be interesting if Dotson will be able to find some pockets of space.
But the Orange very fortunate to still be in a 0-0 match here, as the Hoyas have had 2 terrific opportunities, a post, a crossbar, and a sprawling save by Mish. Wu, a terrific first-time pass. Strasser and Montez combined. Montez has another chance to go one-on-one against the defense. They're asking him to go right, and then he's fouled.
And Montez is asking questions of this Syracuse defense, and I think we're going to see someone find their way into the book here. Another slashing run by the junior, Jacob Montez.
Yeah, Montez striking, frankly, fear into the Syracuse defenders. That foul was caused by anxiety as they were actually in a decent guarding position.
But Dan, it is one thing when you run at defenders with the ball, putting them in bad spots, it's hard to deal with.
So the first restart opportunity from scoring position of the year for the Hoyas comes in the 24th minute. There's a convention there.
Yeah,
It looks like the Democratic debate stage there with so many players around the ball.
Yeah, there's a bunch of guys that haven't had an opportunity to hit one, and now they're all lined up.
It's Montez, Strassner, and Riviere. I'm going to call that a 7. It's actually an 8-person wall. It's going to be Riviere's left foot off the post again. Rebound, O'Hearn drive wide. Riviere hit it perfectly off almost the intersection of the post and the crossbar.
And Coach Weiss just puts his head down and shakes it. What more can you do? That was a brilliantly taken free kick by Riviere. Absolutely brilliant. So Georgetown has hit the right post, the left post, and the crossbar in the first 25 minutes of this match.
Side, the first look at the transfer. The curliest mop on the Hoyas team. Rothrock there on the left side. Very dynamic. But we may never have seen three attempts off the woodwork in the first 25 minutes of a match here at Shaw.
Or in a full match.
Riviere looked like he was about ready to celebrate when that ball left his foot. Poor clearance, Raposo. And the referee will signal corner. And Syracuse, their second corner of the match.
With the run of play that Georgetown's had, dealing with, and Syracuse takes it quickly. I was going to say is, with the run of play Georgetown's had, to concede another corner, Georgetown has to pay attention to their assignments. You do not want to give one up on a restart completely against the run of play.
The left foot of Nicopolitis. Nealis rises above. Now Wu, excellent directional header to O'Hearn.
Yeah, Wu with just a great posed on the ball. And he's had probably two examples. There was one of them. Another one when Raposo kind of had his back and was trying to spin off of him. He's done well defensively as well.
Syracuse going to make two substitutions here. It'll be Noah Singelman, the German, entering, as well as Michael Lantry, hometown Syracuse player in his sophomore season. Singelman, a freshman. Raposo sneaks behind Hope Gund. Raposo showing good pace. And the referee denies the penalty call.
And Ian McIntyre.
And Raposo is furious.
As is Coach McIntyre on the sideline. We don't have replay here today, unfortunately, but Raposo, that's the second time when he's turned the corner, it's caused some problems. Did it on the left side, there on the right side. And Raposo has a little bit of a burst to him when he turns that corner around defenders.
28 minutes into the 2019 men's soccer season here for the Orange and the Hoyas. No score, but Georgetown barely denied by multiple parts of the woodwork here in the first half. That's J.B. Fisher and O'Hearn combining. O'Hearn's been very active. Fisher less so. And look how high up the field Nealis is, Tom, in this situation. He almost
like
plays
winger.
as a right winger. Dotson's first touch is a good one. He and Rothrock look to combine. And now Hope Gunn picks up the turnover. Sees Nealis. Poor first touch from Dillon, but he gets away with it. Early ball looking for Dotson just past his left foot. A searching ball by Nealis.
And that was some of his athleticism as well, because you're right. The first touch let him down, but wins a challenge, and then dangerous diagonal ball searching for Dotson just out of his reach.
Christian Misch, not surprisingly, going to slow things down a bit. The Syracuse keeper has seen a lot in front of him.
And you talked about the woodwork. He also with the save of the weekend that you will see in college soccer, denying Riley.
Keep possession back to Nicopolitis. Giannis now to O'Hearn. Dotson, good first touch, but he's defended well by Higgins. Niall Higgins, a senior transfer from Oakland. Oakland University, Tom, in the state of
California.
Inaccurate. It's just not good enough.
Michigan.
I
got you. And no, I wasn't fed that answer.
And Tom, we're going to get our first look at Dante Polvera, the second freshman to find the field today. Polvera, highly touted out of the NYCFC program, and physically does not look the part of a freshman.
No. 6'4", and he looks all of it. And everything out of camp for Georgetown is he is the real deal. The Hoyas are thrilled to have him as part of this freshman class.
Beer's first touch gets it to Dodson. He's looking for Rothrock. Syracuse able to clear. Hope Gunn cleaned it up very well. Good situational defending there by It's Brian Hawkins making the run, the freshman.
Hawkins scored a goal during Syracuse's preseason matches, and Syracuse won all three of their matches, including against Penn State.
.32 minute score. Polvera keeps possession to Hope Gunn. Now Daniel Wu with space. Two freshmen combine, and now O'Hearn. First time service cleared by Higgins. Syracuse struggling to deal with the waves of Georgetown attackers.
And Syracuse has a lot of numbers behind the ball, but they are not applying.
Not by DC August standards.
freshman there got on the end of that ball back across the box and didn't miss by much.
The Hoyas with a sharpness that you don't often see early in the sharpness.
Yeah, and you'd like to be rewarded.
There's Pulvera. A little battle with full car. It'll be a goal kick for the Hoyas. It looks like Weiss is going to go to his bench one more time and find Chris Lay. Lay, the versatile winger.
Club teammates with O'Hearn as well.
Pulvera battling for it. Good strength there from Pulvera against Matt Orr. And Tom, Pulvera is physically imposing as a freshman. Poor ball there from Hope Gund. Zawadzki slows down Sinclair. Nealis will ward it off for a goal kick, but Hope Gund put Zawadzki in a tough spot there.
Yeah, it's the first time that center back pairing gave one away. Wasn't under a ton of pressure, but you can see if you're not clean on the ball and you're trying to play out of the back, you put yourself in a bad situation. And Montez getting called off, and what a first 30 junior. Dynamic.
Pulvera battling for it. Good strength there from Pulvera against Matt Orr. And Tom, Pulvera is physically imposing as a freshman. Poor ball there from Hope Gund. Zawadzki slows down Sinclair. Nealis will ward it off for a goal kick, but Hope Gund put Zawadzki in a tough spot there.
Yeah, it's the first time that center back pairing gave one away. Wasn't under a ton of pressure, but you can see if you're not clean on the ball and you're trying to play out of the back, you put yourself in a bad situation. And Montez getting called off, and what a first 30 junior. Dynamic all around, found the ball, was active.
And Tom, as I expected, Lay going to go out wide left. Rothrock going to come to the right, his preferred side, and Beer's in the middle now. Good ball by Rothrock, and it'll be the Georgetown Hoyas' first corner.
Yeah, and it's interesting with Beer coming back to the side. They love him playing in that withdrawn role, but with the form that Montez is in, it's going to be hard to find minutes in that withdrawn striker role.
And Beer will hit the in-swinging corner. Lay offers him a short option that Syracuse appears completely uninterested in. Beer hits it way away from the field of play, out for a throw-in on the far side.
And I sometimes don't like the short option, but when it's 2-on-0,
the box, driven to the near post. Nicopolitis got a hand on it.
And there you're seeing Syracuse a little bit more direct with their play. The pace up top.
And he'll win a throw at midfield. Dylan Nealis, a quiet first half for the senior.
It was an ambitious ball from Nealis.
But O'Hearn collects it in space. He'll find Chris Lay, one-on-one against Singleman. Early ball, headed away by McDonald of Syracuse. And a throw-in for the Hoyas with just over 6 minutes remaining in a scoreless first half that's been dominated by the Hoyas. Long throw by Lay, looking for Dodson. Syracuse looks surprised by that long throw.
I was going to say I didn't have that actually in the scouting report myself. It's interesting with that
it's good to know that you're still doing scouting reports
all summer. It's interesting though with that long throw. I would have thought Georgetown would have more runners off of Dotson in the box, trying to get a flick on from.
And the confident Daniel Wu hits the 50-yard ball to O'Hearn.
And the freshman has been impressive. Importantly, with the way Georgetown's building out of the back, they're asking a lot out of him as well as he slides out to the right side so Nealis can fly forward up that right touchline. And Wu has been sharp with the ball. You know, Coach Weiss was saying this entire freshman class, they're thrilled with the form they've come in. They feel like they have a lot of pieces that give them, and you talked about play right away, but not a lot will be asked of them. At least that was the thought coming into it. And, you know, Wu I know you even, during Riley Strassner's freshman year, you both come. Pretty good pipeline with his high school team up in Connecticut, Loomis Chafee. Tim Helfrich thinks he has more than 10 Division I players on his team this year.
I don't know. After the play there, a collision.
Oh, and that was Hawkins again. And the Georgetown coaches are irate.
It was Zawadzki there. That was hit hard right after he released that 50-yard ball. And when you hit that long ball, your kicking leg is exposed, and he went right into it.
And there's a conversation with the assistant referee is going to.
And the referee wants another word with the official. I think, wondering if perhaps the caution was on the wrong player.
Yeah.
An unusual circumstance here at Shaw Field with 3.5 minutes remaining in the first half.
All sorts of confusion, yes, and we're going to... It was a second yellow card, or showed the card twice
We'll
now.
have to get caught up on that at halftime. McIntyre was clearly more concerned about the originally cautioned player, Sinclair, being cautioned than Hawkins.
For sure, especially with, think about having to defend Montez.
Nealis and Dotson combined.
Look at the space Syracuse is giving.
Derek's going to get to his right foot here. Ball remains in play. Rothrock will work to the corner flag. Keep it in play. Good
Little
footwork.
nutmeg.
Dotson, though, can't control it. Good defending there from Fulcar. Now Wu with one boot. And the referee stopping the clock to give Wu the chance to put his boot on.
He's been impressed with the freshman as well. It's interesting,
Wu,
though.
all substance, no flash, including with the footwear. But what an impressive first half for Daniel Wu. Again, for those just joining, he's a freshman from Cary, North Carolina. Polvera sees a run from Dotson. It's too vertical, though, and Mish easily able to read. Just under 3 minutes remain at Shaw Field in the scoreless first half between longtime rivals, the Syracuse Orange and the homestanding Hoyas. Syracuse, of course, left the Big East Conference more than a decade ago. But the teams renewing rivalries as the basketball teams have.
Yeah, it's great to see. And since they left, these two teams have played a couple of times, both of them in the NCAA tournament. Georgetown victorious in both of them, of course, 2014 winning in overtime and 2012 in penalty kicks. That was along the run Georgetown made to the NCAA championship match against Indiana. You referenced Jimmy Nealis being a part of that team.
And Tom, we'd have to say Georgetown has looked less dynamic without Montez.
And Syracuse is getting frustrated. They are getting in late on several challenges. And getting a little bit frustrated with the possession Georgetown's had and the number of fouls being called against the Orange.
So the big moments of the first half, it was Montez. And we'll wait and recap after Nealis cuts in. Nealis in the box. Still working against Higgins.
Look at the numbers Syracuse gets, just swarming the ball.
Archimede. Now Nealis wins it back. But Sinclair is there. And Syracuse will clear. And Tom, what I was saying is the moments of the match, Montez, a driving run resulting in a shot off the post. It was Strassner, a diving header. Amazing save by Mish. And then Montez put the rebound off the crossbar. And then Riviere, off a direct free kick from 23 yards, swerved a left-footed effort that hit the intersection of the post and crossbar. And that's how we ended 0-0.
Yeah, and you think about it, Georgetown could easily have 3 goals and maybe even deserves to have 3 goals at this point with how they played in the first half. But Syracuse will find a way to be level with the Hoyas at half, and Coach McIntyre has to feel good about that as we go into the break.
So that'll do it for the first half. An entertaining one, but you can see the Orange feeling pretty good about themselves right now. Scoreless at the break. We'll be back here from Shaw Field. It's Georgetown 0, Syracuse 0 in the season opener. And Polvera all in the lineup here as Weiss continues to mix and match parts. And I think one of the things you want to see, right, is different combinations of people on the field at the same time. For example, Beer and Montez.
No question. And Beer will be out to the right, but of course with the way Nealis plays up that, he'll come and pinch in as well and look for him to connect with Dotson and Montez in that attacking third.
Here's Rothrock. Ball falls to Beer in space. Beer cuts to his left foot. Drive, it was hit well. Higgins blocked it with his back. Beer's two-footed. And you saw the left foot there.
And you're right, Beer did hit that one well. Good for Beer, finding the ball early. Second time. It looks like he got fouled here.
He certainly got fouled and can't believe nothing was called there. As John Austin Ricks. Poor touch by Wu, and a shot is blocked by Rio Hope Gunn. Daniel Wu's first poor touch, and it almost cost the Hoyas there as Archimede had a shot, and Hope Gunn came over well to block it.
Yeah, and Wu had to deal with Raposo running off of his back shoulder. That was a good early ball. And the freshman, Daniel Wu, who was so composed in the first half, but didn't have to deal with runs behind his shoulder. And that first one, a little bit nervous with Raposo sneaking in behind him. And Georgetown fortunate that Hope Gunn got there in time.
Early ball. Archimede gets to it, but it's out of bounds. Goal kick.
And the freshman Archimede, he was dangerous when he came on in the first half. Had a decent chance. And then here early in the second half with two good chances.
Rothrock's in on a ball from Nealis. Rothrock behind the defense. Rothrock lays it off to Dotson, and it's a goal. It's Derek Dotson from Paul Rothrock. And the Hoyas lead 1-0. And that all started from Nicopolidis playing the early goal kick, catching Syracuse completely napping.
And we talked about it at halftime, you and I, not on the air, that Georgetown with one ball has been able to break down this Syracuse defense. And what a ball from Nealis. I think Syracuse is wondering, was Dotson offside on that ball that was played to him? But what a brilliant ball from Nealis.
And Rothrock did well there. He was getting bothered from behind by McDonald and had the composure to look to his left and find Dotson.
Yeah, it was just an experienced play from Rothrock. You could tell his pace wasn't enough that he was going to allow to be able to continue that run, but he positioned his body appropriately. I think during the celebration, a couple Hoyas collided heads. As Montez and Dotson are both going to have to come off with blood on their uniform. You've never seen that either.
That is accurate.
Holy cow.
So, Nicopolidis to Nealis to Rothrock to Dotson for the Hoyas' first of the year, and then Dotson and Montez colliding heads in the celebratory pig pile.
And Dotson got the worst of it, little cut above his right eye, but Montez, that number 7 jersey has blood on it.
And Tom, I mentioned it, but let me restate it again. The decision by Nicopolidis to play a goal kick when Nealis was the only one watching was spectacular.
No doubt. And a great run from Rothrock getting in behind the Syracuse defense. Dan, here's an interesting question. Montez and Dotson both come out 2 minutes into the second half. You're allowed to come back in one time in the second half when you're subbed out.
There's allowance for situations like this that the rule does not apply. So Syracuse, after feeling good coming out of the locker room 0-0, suddenly chasing the game. Here's Raposo against Nealis. Sturdy defending there from Dillon. It'll be a goal kick.
And being forced to chase the game with the lack of pressure Syracuse has been applying for long stretches in this game, you just wonder if they start to apply some pressure with the sharpness that Georgetown's playing at right now, if Georgetown just won't break them down time and time again.
So Jacob Montez back in. The bloody jersey has been replaced by the number 29, Riviere, for the shortest stint of his career.
And Dotson still getting treatment. It's a cut right above his eye.
Archimede, Nicopolitas off his line, and the referee's going to whistle a penalty. Nicopolitas got to Archimede, and against the run of play, and Syracuse wins a penalty.
And it's the pace of Archimede again. And that challenge was at 17.5 yards, right at the top of the box.
And Nicopolitas cautioned for that move, and I think for the sophomore goalkeeper, have to have more composure to force the play wide there.
And what a moment for Syracuse a couple minutes after conceding.
It'll be Raposo. Shot, goal, and 1-1 is the score. Raposo, who led the team in scoring in the preseason and last year, is excited as the Orange tie the match less than 2 minutes after Georgetown opens the scoring.
Yeah, and you think about this. Dotson and Montez have to come off. Montez comes back on. Dotson's still getting treatment. And what a terrible response from Georgetown after scoring their first goal to allow Syracuse to win a penalty kick.
This game has not lacked for action as Montez finds the ball. Bothered by Sinclair. Fulcar and Polvera battle for it. It'll be Beer. Nice little cutback and a hip shake from Jack Beer. It's Rothrock who assisted on Dodson's goal. Looking for Strassner at the back post. Beer wins it top of the box. Montez onside. Finds Polvera. Sliding tackle is a great one by Higgins.
Yeah, and Polvera, look at how deep he's getting into the box from that center midfield position, running off of Montez. And this is a good sign for Hoyas fans as Derek Dotson, the goal scorer, back on the field.
So Hearn, he'll find Rothrock. Now it's Montez. The dangerous Montez into a pocket of space to Dotson. Now wide to Rothrock. First time ball. Wrong pace, but the Hoyas were offside.
It's good to see early in the second half Jack Beard getting on the ball. He didn't see much of it in the first half. Coach Weiss gives him the nod, and 3 or 4 times already he's had the ball in the attacking third in dangerous spots. And if he and Montes are both on form, that will be challenging for Syracuse to deal with.
Fulcar out wide to Goldhar. Early ball to the back post looking for Archimede. He'll head straight down. And Hope Gunn gets to it. Good pace from Rio. The early ball, though, is lacking in Syracuse, feeling a boost of confidence after the equalizer. Attacks into the Georgetown end. Hope Gunn bothered by Archimede. And Nicopolidis heads a sure own goal out of play for a Syracuse corner.
And you talked about Syracuse feeling better about themselves. They're applying a little bit more pressure, and the pace of Archimede has caused problems again. And you're right, Nicopolidis caught and Hope Gunn with one that he would want to get back, and Nicopolidis does everything he can heading that one away.
Because your instinct as a goalie is to catch the ball when it's coming at you at head height. Corner for the Syracuse. Dangerous ball headed away by Jack Beer. And Syracuse, their first sustained pressure of the match. Dangerous left-footed ball. Nicopolidis parries away. Still in the box. Cleared by Nealis.
It's amazing what a goal will do for your confidence. Syracuse winning the ball higher up the field. Spear gets in on a tough challenge.
And the senior Dylan Nealis trying to calm the Hoyas down. He'll find Polvera. First time ball out to Rothrock. Now Beer. Nealis has moved to the left side here, at least temporarily. So it may not be temporarily. It looks like they've moved Hope Gunn out wide right. As Syracuse counters off the turnover. Archimede down the left side. He has runners. Cuts to his preferred right foot. Searching shot wide of Nicopolidis' left post.
Freshman has been dangerous for Syracuse up top. Nealis will slide back over to the right side. I think it was just on that, how they defended the corner. But one of the things that we talked about at the top of the broadcast, a big question is that center back pairing. And in the first half, Hope Gunn and Wu were up to task. They were spot on. But here, 10 minutes into the second half, that center back pairing has been exposed on a couple of occasions.
Polvera, excellent move. Ball stuck at his feet a bit, though. Trying to find Rothrock. He'll batter McDonald. Good touch from Rothrock. But it goes out of bounds for a goal kick. We're in the 55th minute of play. Dodson and Raposo, the two expected leading scorers for each team, have each netted their first goal of the season in the opener. Calm finishes from both. Raposo on a penalty. Dodson on an empty net off a great feed from Rothrock. Wu wins a header to Polvera. Good early ball. First touch from Beer is a good one. But the Hoyas having trouble finding Montez here, Tom, in this second half. He was so much of the engine in the first. And the Hoyas are much more predictable to defend when Montez not on the ball.
Yeah, and we talked about the number of touches that Montez found himself with in the first 35 minutes. Here he finds the ball and is able to face.
Nearly a good turn there from Beer. As Sinclair and Orr combined for Syracuse. Wu will go back to Nicopolidis. Giannis, who committed the foul and was booked, that led to the penalty. as he sprawled for the ball near the top of the box, but got the left leg of Archimede instead. Good first touch from John Austin Ricks. And then he can't combine with Raposo. Confusion in the Hoya box as Nealis' service deflected off of Wu.
Couple of sloppy moments from Georgetown in the back. And it has allowed Syracuse to not only get back in this match, but start to feel better about themselves.
O'Hearn quiet here in the second. Now Rothrock. Good touch from Rothrock. Higgins read it though. He'll go back to me. She'll clear. Raposo comes back. Plays a nice ball to John Austin Ricks. Ricks cuts inside. Poor ball cut out by Nealis. First time off the interception. Finds Beer. And there, Tom, you see some of the higher pressure that you didn't see from Syracuse early.
That's exactly right. And Georgetown has not been dealing with it well. We were surprised Syracuse didn't apply more pressure in that first half.
Boy, has slowed things down here on the newly resurfaced Shaw Field. Poor ball from O'Hearn. Cut out by John Austin Ricks, who's been busy. He and Rothrock get into a battle. Paul's going to get whistled for a foul.
Doesn't think that he committed one, but did have a little bit of a bear hug on Ricks. Ricks, one of the captains of this Syracuse team. What a ball, and what a save by Nicopolitis.
And then Raposo comes after it, tries to win a penalty.
And McDonald with a brilliant ball. And there again, Raposo getting off of the back shoulder of Georgetown's center backs. Hope Gund and Wu are not dealing well with those runs kind of off their back shoulder. And Nicopolitis came up big with a save because Raposo did get a touch on that one.
Austin Ricks and Rothrock battle again. And that time, actually that's McDonald that time. He's whistled for a foul. And Georgetown will slow things down.
And Syracuse, Georgetown loves to play the ball quickly on these restarts. And Syracuse every time has someone standing not even 3 or 4 yards, 3 or 4 feet in front of where they're trying to take it.
It'll be Jack Beer. And Tom, he'll try to hit this ball right in that danger zone, 8 to 12 yards, where Mish is forced to make a decision.
Insert.
That's where he plays the ball. Battle in front. Nealis header. Didn't quite get enough on it.
A lot of traffic. Syracuse was trying to hold the line at about the 18, but they got kind of sucked in a little bit, and that was a good ball that Beer whipped in. Too much traffic for Nealis to get any power on that header.
O'Hearn header cut out by Fulcar. Now it's John Austin Ricks. Early ball to the back post. Harmless, and the first substitutions of the second half for Syracuse. The first look at Massimo Farron. And then Noah Singleman will re-enter.
Well, Farron started but was pretty quiet up top for Syracuse in the first half.
And Brian Weiss looking to summon some experience as a turnover. Raposo with it shot over. Rather, that was Farron who just entered the game, showing a burst.
And Farron had 5 goals last year. His father played about 10 miles away from Georgetown at the University of Maryland. Farron part of the U20 Canadian national team pool, but did not see a lot from him in the first half. And with him coming on, I thought he was going to be replacing Archimede, but the freshman striker is earning minutes.
Yeah, and Raposo, Archimede, and Farron all on the pitch at the same time right now. Back post ball headed over by Archimede, and Georgetown will need to handle better. Archimede getting a free header from 6 yards out there. Meanwhile, substitutions. Polvera exits, as does Rothrock. It'll be Lochner coming to the left side for the Hoyas, and J.B. Fisher, the senior who started the match in one of the two holding midfield slots, returns.
And Dan, with Georgetown struggling a bit here in the second half, especially kind of in their defensive third, I think at this time, as Beer is chopped down, at this time, Zawadzki has to find the ball to kind of relieve some of that pressure. He's so good technically with the ball in space, but we virtually haven't called his name in the second half, and Georgetown not as fluid in their attack. So look for Zawadzki to get on the ball to help relieve some of the pressure that Georgetown's dealing with in their back third.
It's Hilly Goldhar who goes into the referee's book. Absolutely a cautionable offense, as Beer was free had he not been fouled.
Beer much more active here in the second half than in the first half. You'd love to see both him and Montez be active at the same time.
Beer and Montez both on the ball here. It'll be Montez, now Beer. Poor ball, easily cleared by the Orange. Fisher now possessing with O'Hearn. O'Hearn, terrific ball to Beer, but just over his head. We're in the 63rd minute of play at Shaw Field. Raposo and Dotson, the goal scorers, in a 1-1 battle between these two former Big East rivals. Georgetown certainly the higher quality chances in the match, but Syracuse the better team in the second half thus far. There's Zawadzki finding the overlapping Sean O'Hearn, the junior from Pennsylvania. Now Lochner, the grad student. Zawadzki, terrific ball to Dotson. Laid off Fisher. Would like to have that one back. Caught a lot of turf there, and the shot goes harmlessly wide. Fisher is known to have a good strike from distance.
Yeah, it's that new turf here. It is a little bit thicker and slower than it's been in previous years. But there's Zawadzki, a good 15 or 20 yard penetrating ball. He's got to find more of it, though, to help this Georgetown offense click. Again, one thing we haven't talked about is the Hoyas face a little bit of adversity in the second half. This is a new coaching staff supporting Brian Weiss this year, right? Zach Samuel gets the head coaching job down the street at AU.
Montez, great skill.
As Montez gets knocked down. But there's also a learning curve with him and his assistant coaches this year. Try to figure out how to make in-game adjustments.
Here's Raposo with speed. Oh, and a poor ball. As Georgetown fortunate that Raposo didn't do better. Meanwhile, a good tackle.
There's just more urgency from the Orange in the second half, getting in on more tackles, applying more pressure.
Raposo creating more freedom now with Farron and Archimede in there to come into the midfield.
Yeah, playing that with Deron Stryker kind of off those two.
Here's Archimede, who's been a handful. Oh. O'Hearn and Archimede battle. And then Sinclair shoves O'Hearn down. O'Hearn giving up a lot of size to Archimede.
Archimede's going to cause problems for some defenders in the ACC. Size, pace, good on the ball.
Work rate. And the pressure continues from the Orange.
Yeah, that's where Zawadzki needs to find the ball.
Dotson finds Fisher. Early ball to Beer. Nealis wants it through, but easily read.
It's too predictable there. Nealis hasn't gotten a lot of service down the right side and trying to force it a little bit there, but that was easily thwarted by Syracuse.
O'Hearn. No, it's Montez. Double team coming. Plays out of it. Montez strike wide, but Montez, his footwork is so clean right now. You can tell the Orange are tentative every time he has the ball.
Yeah, they do not want to dive in on Montez. Quick and sharp with the ball. That's what we saw from the junior really all in the first half. First glimpse of it here in the second half is Beer and Dotson come off.
So it's the original starting 11 for the Hoyas on the pitch right now. That won't be the last we see of either Dotson or Beer. Midway through the second half, both goals in this half. Dotson for the Hoyas, Raposo for the Orange. As Lochner dispossessed and Raposo and the Orange try to build. Singleman, early ball. Poor first touch there from Massimo Farron. And the Hoyas will build confidently. Zawadzki slow there, and Archimedes slides to disrupt.
And Zawadzki took a little hit, but you're right. Didn't check his shoulder and know that he was getting pressured from behind.
O'Hearn hitting a ball that is not the kind of ball you want to play Riley Strassner. Farron is in. Wu defending a shot just over.
And Hope Gunn misplayed that one, and you're right. Farron gets in again. And that center back pairing, who was so organized in the first half, and starting to show some holes. And at this point, it's Nicopolitis has to get them organized earlier and better. Because the Syracuse strikers are finding pockets of space between the two center backs for Georgetown and behind them off of their shoulders.
And so that shot deflected by Hope Gunn. And so Syracuse with another corner, near post ball. And the Hoyas, Riviere able to clear. Zach Riviere, who hit the post in the first half on a free kick from 23 yards when the Hoyas were dominating this match. But that seems a long time ago, as it's a good old-fashioned battle right now. 1-1 the score. Either team looks possible to take the lead.
And we talked about it right at the end of the first half, how Coach McIntyre must feel great about the position he finds himself in after taking on so much water in that first half and not conceding.
As Nealis is fouled near midfield. And as O'Hearn had the ball there and looked up, Tom, all 5 attacking players making vertical runs away. As Fisher is fouled, setting up another free kick opportunity.
And Sinclair again.
It'll be Zach Riviere, the sophomore, to hit this restart. Riviere grew up in the shadows of the campus of Rutgers University in Piscataway, New Jersey. His left-footed service, again poor, doesn't get by the first line of Syracuse defense.
That's exactly right. It's 2 consecutive balls. Beer hit one, and then Riviere doesn't get over that first line.
Lochner a shot, it tipped over. A brilliant save by Misch, sort of coming out of nowhere. Lochner hit it well on the full volley, and Misch tips over.
Oh, great technique from the graduate student Ethan Lochner.
Chances galore in this match. Georgetown recycled after the poor restart, and the ball fell to the right foot of Lochner. Neela's flick header to the back post. No one there. Was exactly what the Hoyas were looking for there.
Yeah, that was a good ball to the near post. Flicked right across the goal mouth in a dangerous spot. And if you're the Georgetown players in that penalty area, you've got to be crashing the goal, expecting that ball that is going to get flicked across the box.
Looping service this time. Strassner looked to have pushed off. Referee didn't call it. Instead, Syracuse breaks out. And then a silly foul by Hope Gunn to earn a obvious yellow card 80 yards from his own goal.
Georgetown seemed to have numbers there that were going to be able to deal with that, but Hope Gunn with a professional foul, to say the least.
McDonald for Syracuse. Archimede nearly had another opportunity. Nicopolitis will clear to midfield. 17 and a half minutes remain in a game that's gotten sloppier as it's gone on. O'Hearn looking for Riviere. Can't find him now. Strassner with it. Riley near midfield. With a lot of space, he'll find Dylan Nealis. Nealis cutting inside. Early ball. He and Montez combine. Fisher, a couple pirouettes, and now Zawadzki. Lots of space, but he'll go wide to Riviere. Nealis and Raposo lost sight of where he was on the field and concedes a corner kick to Georgetown when it wasn't necessary. And the Hoyas, with under 17 minutes remaining, are going to go to 2 freshmen here. They're going to go to Aiden Rocha, who will replace Daniel Wu. And it'll be Polvera re-entering, replacing Zawadzki.
And this will be interesting, the lineup here. Rocha is a midfielder. Local product with great energy.
Riviere's corner. Into the middle of the box. Headed in! It's J.B. Fisher's scoring a brilliant goal off the service from Riviere. And the senior from France and the PSG program deposits the header clinically. And the Hoyas take the 2-1 lead.
And let's make sure there's no injuries in this celebration, please, boys. But what a goal. What a ball whipped in by Riviere. And J.B. Fisher. What a moment. His first start today, his first goal, and it is a huge one.
And Tom, it's interesting, little things in games. As I said in the moment, Raposo conceded that corner completely unnecessarily. It was a botched combination play from the Hoyas. He didn't realize Zawadzki had stopped his run, plays it out for a corner, and that may cost Syracuse a result on the road.
Well said, and it required a great ball in by Riviere. The last time Georgetown scored, Syracuse answered within a couple of minutes. And with the change in the back, it's Nealis who will actually slide into the center of the park. We've talked about in the second half the challenges that Wu and Hope Gund were having dealing with the Syracuse attack. So Weiss brings in his senior defender, the reigning Big East Defensive Player of the Year, to try to organize the center of the park.
So we knew there was at least one more goal in this match, and J.B. Fisher finds it. Fisher and Dotson for the Hoyas. Raposo, the goal scorer. And resetting the Georgetown lineup, it's O'Hearn, Nealis, Hope Gund, Rocha, Fisher, Polvera, Riviere, Strassner, Montez, and Lochner. Raposo cutting inside. Well read by Lochner. Now Polvera. Riviere, poor touch. Lochner wins it. Hoyas 3-on-3. Lochner cuts inside deftly. Scooping ball finds Polvera. Polvera! Goal! It's the freshman opening his account on the assist from Lochner. Grad student to freshman. And the Hoyas take the 3-1 lead.
Grad student to freshman, Red Bull Academy to NYFC Academy. What a deft little ball that Ethan Lochner played in. And then we talked about it early in the first half. Polvera gets deep into the box there. He keeps the run deep out of the midfield. And it is so hard for defensive lines to deal with those deep runs. The size, the strength, the technical ability. What a moment for the freshman, Dante Polvera.
And less than a minute after the Hoyas take the lead, Polvera provides the Hoyas what seems to be a comfortable 2-goal advantage. And after the goal, Dotson replaces Strassner. But the willingness to make the run out of the center of the midfield, which we didn't see from Zawadzki when he was in there.
Well, Polvera has that understanding. He loves getting deep into the box.
Good weight of a ball from Dotson to Rocha. Freshman's first touch is a good one, finds Riviere.
And Roach has been on the field for 3 minutes, and Georgetown scored 2 goals.
Yeah, plus minus.
Oh, fantastic.
Here is Rocha. Now Hope Gund. Good composure from the Hoyas with less than 15 minutes remaining. Offsides on Lochner. Polvera whistled for a foul as he got a hold of Sorley's jersey after being nutmegged. Good skill there for Syracuse, looking for Farron. Now Polvera does a good job defending there. One box to the other for the freshman. Now it's Riviere. Riviere with an assist on the go-ahead goal. Rocha slows things down. Too looping of a ball, easily cut out and headed back by John Austin Ricks.
Yeah, if you're going to hit that ball, it has to be on a rope across the field.
Poor clearance by Nealis. Grabs his calf afterwards. Looks to be just a cramp situation as he's stretching.
Yeah, as a swing and a miss is a tough touch by Fisher. Nealis still dealing with that. Syracuse not willing to play the ball out here.
The referee's going to stop it for them. And Ian McIntyre is going to bring his whole back line at a minimum over. As Nealis has had some muscle challenges, through the years and early in the season.
Yeah, first game late in the game, and took a big swing at that one. The ball was going by him. McIntyre will look to get his freshman striker, who has been a bright spot for him, Artemidi, back into this match. He has certainly caused some problems for Georgetown defensively. For Georgetown, the clock is still running on the scoreboard at Shaw Field, but there will be some great teaching moments that Brian Weiss can take out of this match, especially if you can get a positive result in your opener against a very good team from the ACC, but have a lot of examples to show the guys what they need to improve upon, both positionally as well as just kind of the understanding of how to get forward at certain times. You can look at the good in the first half. Montez found a lot of pockets of space, and Georgetown was so sharp in their attack, and then it went away for a long stretch in the second half.
And interestingly, La Jolla is going to bring Chris Lay in at the left back position with Nealis coming out, as opposed to bringing Wu back in the middle.
And you slide O'Hearn back in, and we mentioned Achara, an injury, also an injury to Foster McCune, who at this point, with kind of the back line, he is a player that can play a number of positions. Clearly, he would have gotten an opportunity. But a makeshift back line right now for Georgetown with about 12 minutes to go.
Well, there's one thing, Tom. We've seen lots of Hoyas and lots of different combinations on the first day. And if you can do that and get a win against a team expected to have quite a good season, that is the recipe for a positive opening day. Rothrock, right hand forearm shiver, gets him to commit a foul as Syracuse attacks. It's Hawkins. Early ball, chested down, Raposo with it in the box. Looping ball just over, good skill there from Ryan Raposo, the sophomore from Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, and that was a good connection with Farron. Haven't seen enough of that connection, though. Farron lays that one off to Raposo, who found himself, and just great vision and skill. Sophomore playmaker, a little bit frustrated for Syracuse right now. Thinks he should have done better with that chance, as he had time to try to pick out that top corner.
And Polvera limping significantly right now as he's going to go down.
And Raposo saw him cramping right away. I'm glad that that's a cramp, because I thought it was his ankle, how gingerly he was standing on that, but the heat is certainly getting to some of the players here late in this match.
Polvera is going to exit and be replaced by Sean Zawadzki. And I think a good learning moment right now for Zawadzki to have seen the last 10 minutes on the bench. The Hoyas going from 1-1 to 3-1. And Polvera, exciting moment to score in your first game as a Hoya.
And he looks the part. And for someone with his size, he's also just very smooth on the ball.
It must be said, Tom, all 3 Georgetown goals, clinical assists. Rothrock to Dotson, Riviere to Fisher, and Lochner to Polvera. And the one thing about what I just went through is 6 different names. Back post ball. No one making the run until Mish collects. We've gone under 10 minutes remaining in this opening game of the 2019 men's soccer season. And the Orange, who were put the Hoyas under pressure for about 15, 20 minutes in the second half. But
yeah, it was the life they got after the penalty kick goal. And there was a higher pressure, there was higher urgency, more urgency out of Syracuse. And Georgetown wasn't as sharp and clean on the ball, was struggling to find the game for a bit. But scoring off of a restart can change.
Rocha getting a sprint in. Then an early ball. And again, several times today, the Hoyas in prime positions to create good service, and they haven't gotten it past the first defender. It's the kind of thing you can clean up on the training ground. Lochner intercepts. And Tom, the word I used in the first half to describe this roster is deep, and I think you've seen some of that today. A lot of interchangeable pieces.
Seen a lot of it, and Coach Weiss has had to go deep into his thinking about putting guys in certain places, dealing with some injuries, some cramping. But really important minutes for Rocha and Chris Lay here. Opportunities to show themselves and earn more minutes. So it is a quick turnaround for Georgetown. They play again on Monday.
Raposo battling Hope Gund. Under 8 minutes now remain. And Fulcar, Tom, the highly decorated sophomore, has not made much of an imprint on this match today in the center of the park.
Yeah, Syracuse, you think about where they've been dangerous. It's been more direct, getting behind the Georgetown backs. For Georgetown, when they've been most dangerous, Beer has found pockets of space. Montez has found pockets of space. Certainly, the freshman Polvera making that deep run out of the center of the midfield. And what a great sign for Georgetown. For the second consecutive year, they lose a senior in that center midfield. Chris Lemma a couple years ago, Zayats last year. But finding pieces that have been difference makers today.
So Daniel Wu re-enters, Rocha exits. O'Hearn going to play his third of 4 back positions right now, out at the right back position right now. There's Rothrock with some space, trying to find Dotson again. Still with it. He's going to lay it off. They'll whistle a foul there. Actually, the ball went out of play. And so that'll give Brian Weiss a chance to summon Joe DeLuz, the San Diego sophomore. And Lochner will exit.
And what a brilliant assist from the grad student. Deft little ball.
Fisher now to Beer. Beer service to O'Hearn. Enjoying at least a couple minutes to be able to play on his preferred foot side. Very little of that in his 3 years on the Hilltop. Good left-footed ball to Beer. Positive spin turn. Finds Lay. It's Lay and Deleuze on the left side. It'll be Deleuze. Joe Deleuze. He'll cut inside and find Fisher. And a terrific ball and a positive first touch from Sean O'Hearn. Early service. Falls to Dotson. Derek, good strength, top of the box, trying to get a shot off, and does. It was deflected, and so it'll be a corner.
That was great strength from Dotson. Once again, the hard thing that O'Hearn did was that first touch. Took it with his left foot, 7 or 8 yards in front of him, took away the space. The service again doesn't get past the first defender, and probably 6 or 7 times that's happened. It's not as like Georgetown's been dealing with a lot of pressure on the service. They've had time to pick their head up, and the quality just hasn't been there.
The Hoyas are going to go to the corner flag. It's Dotson. Enjoys the physicality over there. Rothrock, he'll go back there.
He also enjoys the physicality watching him play in his Hoya debut.
WrestleMania there in the corner flag.
Burns a good 40 seconds.
This Hoya team's an interesting mix of experience and some fresh ideas.
Yeah, with one of their most dynamic, if not their most dynamic player offensively not playing today.
Now just over 3 minutes remain, and the air taken out of this match. As the Hoyas will win a goal kick. Nicopolitis has made a couple good saves today.
Great play with his head. And that was a real important point in the match, because that was during the stretch where Syracuse was applying pressure, had better of the play. And that poor back pass, and Nicopolitis with a great play to head that one away from his goal. And then really a couple minutes later, Georgetown with 2 quick strikes to put this game out of reach.
Hope Gunn's header. Taken by Farron. He'll battle Wu. Try to slip a ball to Raposo, but Hope Gund is there. Ball falls to Farron. He's going to have a chance. Shot's blocked. He'll have another chance. Shot's blocked again. And Archimede out wide to Austin Ricks. Left-footed service. Headed away well by Sean O'Hearn.
And if you're Nicopolitis, you love your back line blocking shots for you. Nicopolitis clearly a good shot stopper, but can block them before they get to the goalkeeper.
Here's Deleuze. Good first touch. Now Dotson. 2 minutes remain. It's Fisher. Now Dotson. And Deleuze didn't hold his run, so offsides. But Tom, the Hoyas will take on Temple on Monday afternoon.
First ever matchup between the two sides.
And it's a Temple team that sort of really overhauled its roster and its program 2 years ago. It's the second year for their new head coach, Sasha Sarovsky's longtime assistant. And they like the side that they're going to bring to the Hilltop on Monday.
Yeah, and Georgetown, as they've done for a number of years in the Brian Weiss era, loves getting a game on Labor Day. 2 games. A little bit more time, though.
We have to work on Labor Day.
That's really the point I was making. But yeah, it will be an interesting test against the Owls.
As Nicopolitis punches that looping cross from midfield over the net. And Syracuse will have a corner here in the last 30 seconds. Back post, headed away.
And Dan, there is a lot of good to take away from this match. Think about in the first half, the question about the center back pairing for the first half was spot on. The play of Montez, to me, he was so decisive in the first half, dangerous. It's exactly how Brian Weiss and this Hoya coaching staff envisions him playing. And when he's finding the ball, it adds another layer to this attack. And then ultimately in the second half, as the game got away from Georgetown, they conceded. They found enough to recover with 2 quick goals and a well-deserved 3-1 victory.
Indeed it is. So that'll do it. The season is off to the races at Shaw Field. Tom Greaser and Dan Helfrich will be back with you on Monday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern for the Hoyas and the Owls. Until then, it's Fisher, it's Dotson, and it's Pulvera, the goal scorers. Georgetown 3, Syracuse 1.